So, you know how I like AngryBirds Epic a lot? Yeah, I like AngryBirds Epic a lot. So, I thought since the game's practically finished already, why not make something else? Like, sure, I can't code this into a game unless one of you guys here know how to code. Though, since how small our channel is, you probably won't be willing to even if you did know how to code. And so I made a pyromancer class for Chuck. For those who don't know, a pyromancer is basically a wizard that specializes in fire. To put it into the class that I want Chuck to have. So it all started when my bro sent me this message where he had a custom hat for Chuck. Well, he didn't exactly have the idea, but he's laid out a skeleton at least, and I got interested. So I replied by sending him this, which is my attempt at making the abilities for Chuck. And I even made a chili option, of course, because every Chuck class always has the exact same chili ability. So I decided, why not make something different? But since I thought that maybe you'd still want to use Chuck's original chili, so I made it optional whether or not you wanted to actually use the chili that I custom made. So I decided to start designing a design for this pyromancer Chuck. But first of all, I had to find inspiration, because you can't just tell someone to draw a hat based on a class without them even seeing any pictures of what the clothes or outfit of this class looks like. You can't expect someone to do that, right? So I went to the best place that you could ever find this stuff, which is clearly Google. So I looked for inspiration right here, and I noticed that there were like these like things at like the edges of it, you know, like the cloth over there. And after looking around for a while, I realized that I also had to look for Chuck classes. So that's exactly what I searched for and looked at them. And I realized that most of them are like triangular and stuff like that. So that means I also had to make a triangular hat, right? So I decided to start by first downloading a picture of Chuck. So I added Chuck over here, this very happy Chuck. Look, he's ecstatic. Then after that, I decided to add some set items. So I went to Google and searched up some set items. So I found probably the best set item for Chuck, and then I went and downloaded it. And now I have the fun task of cropping it out. But of course the auto cropper is not very smart. I tried again. This time I literally drew the shape out for it, but of course that failed. I tried again, and yeah, it's pretty stupid. So after adding the set items, I drew this hat over here. So like the edges, yeah. So that was exactly what I was talking about. So I thought it turned out pretty well, and on top of all that, I even used a dull color, and I even made like fire sparks on top. So I thought it would be perfect to show my bro. So I sent him this picture, and I don't think he likes it, cause this is how he reacted, which told me that he didn't particularly like it. And I looked at it again and thought, yeah, it is pretty plain. So it was time for take 2 at making pyromancer Chuck. But lucky for me, my bro actually also sent me the hat that he wanted Chuck to have, along with a wand design, which is probably the black outline that you saw in the video thumbnail. That kind of gave it away. Anyway, so this is it. Yeah, this is the thing he sent me, and I don't think it's particularly that good, but I told him I could do something with it, and he showed me a thumbs up of approval, so I went to work. So over here is Chuck. Basically what I did was I copied, well, everything that he drew and added a gem. Yeah. And on top of that, I also added like the brown edges that I was like going for in my first design. And yeah, this is not really a hat, it's more of like a cloak or a bag. Yeah, something along those lines. So after that, I also add like the fire on top of his hat, just to show what he actually does. Because, well, that's what a pyromancer does, so that's what Chuck's gotta do, right? Yeah, so I added that on, and it looks pretty good, but a bit bland still. So I decided to look back at Chuck hats and see what was wrong. So after a short session of looking at the Chuck hats, I realized most of them, what they do is symbolize on their hat, not on top of their hat, and they usually have at least one feather. Like, you can't name me a hat that Chuck has without a feather. Okay, maybe you can, but still, most hats do. So what I did was that I removed the fire, put a feather, and then put the fire logo on the hat instead, but still looked a bit plain. So I decided to add some stuff to like the edges of the hat. So I added like streaks of fire like running down Chuck's what is it? Basket? Helmet? Because that's definitely not a hat. Hoodie? I don't know. Yeah, so I think it looks much better now. Afterwards, I drew the wand right here. And yeah, I think it turned out pretty well. Well, not that it's gonna do anything to the game, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Was it worth my time? Probably. Yeah, so that's the end result. What were you expecting? You expect me to be some kind of expert coder or something, and then code this in and have a coding montage? Well, instead of having a coding montage, how about we just have a 100 times speed drawing montage, starting now?